Call to order the Batavia Park District Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for July 16th at 7:03. Please call the roll.
Larson.
Here.
Bell.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Callahan is absent. Tillman.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any items to be added, moved, changed from the agenda?
There are none.
Lovely. Then we'll move on to item number 5 and entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. The approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting for June 18th, the executive session for June 18th, paid expenditures, expense approval report, investment summary, income statement, purchases, annual treasurer's report, resolution number 306 disavowing a purported transfer of property and authorizing the execution of a quit, I knew I was going to mess that up, a quit claim deed to the city of Batavia.
Let's try to say that 5 times fast.
Right? I can't even say it once.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. Please call the roll.
Gray. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Oh, second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, guest matters from the public. Anybody? Anybody? Don't push. Please, maintain order. All right, matters from the commissioners. What do you got?
Well, I had a wonderful time at the Windmill City Festival. Fantastic job. We had fun volunteering too. That was great to be in the beer tent, and my daughter helped with the pet parade, pet competition. She was a very good judge. She would not be swayed. But yeah, it was excellent. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. We appreciate you volunteering.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Ditto. I was there on Saturday, and yeah, it was a great job, like always. And also, great job on the Wednesday night concerts. It's fun, and it's great to see it like packed on there. And yeah, good job.
Yeah, I always show up to the Windmill City Fest on Sunday, but I love watching everybody just, it's like a well-organized machine that just runs, and it's fantastic just to watch. And one of the reasons I show up on Sunday is because there's very little work for me to do, but there's tons of work for everybody else, and it's like it never stops, and it just keeps going. So it's just fantastic. Everything is just really runs very, very well, and it's just it brings a lot of pride, to the town, to myself for working with you guys. It's wonderful. So kudos, fantastic.
Thank you.
A round of applause.
Yeah.
I was in Minnesota at my soccer tournament.
We were wondering where you were.
But it's my kids' last, between baseball and soccer, we're done now. And the kid butt, so.
Nice.
Most important. So yes.
So it was worth it.
Yes. Well, I'm done now. If you guys need me for anything.
We'll run the whole thing again. All right, item 8A is the graphic design logo collaboration with Batavia High School. I understand we have some presentations, right?
We do. I'd like to bring to the podium our very own Gail Gabota and Kathleen Tiriton. I try to say it very quickly.
She's Mrs. T.
Mrs. T. Yeah. There you go.
You notice I didn't even try.
All right, so this is our Batavia High School graphics teacher, Kathleen Tiriton, and we've worked really well together with her on other projects, so we thought of a new idea to involve a student to kind of give her real-world experience. May I have the next slide, please? This is the Touch-A-Truck, the final logo and poster, which was created by Batavia High School student Marissa Pepping. And unfortunately, Marissa could not be here at the meeting tonight. She had a work commitment. But we will go over this and give you the overview of the project. And she's very sorry she was unable to attend. So Touch-A-Truck is a very energetic family event that was previously part of Windmill City Festival. And that is Marissa for you. And we decided to make a logo design a collaborative project to give a student some real-world experience, and now that this event is standing on its own, give it an identity for the community. And our collaboration grew from the Park District's relationship with Ms. T, as our students call her, Ms. T, through the annual Valley Education for Employment System organization, so that each year students from area high schools get together and they have a graphic design challenge to design a logo package, a marketing package, and I coach Batavia High School students and then help judge the competition. And it's always a very rewarding experience, and that gave us the idea to maybe continue to work with the student, to give the student a little bit of real-world experience and just see how it is to work on a project. So Katie and I wrote a marketing prompt for the project, and excuse me, I will pass down for you to look at. They're the same, so if you want to share or pass down.
Did you think you really needed to double? I'm sorry. I could have done, I should have said. Yes.
This will be our BATV funny moment blooper.
I like the note, handprints can look creepy.
They do. And so I think it's important.
Yeah, this is,
It feels here, here you go, you can see it.
There you go.
So we gave her this prompt because when they work on the Valleys project, they get a prompt that says what we're looking for, what we're not looking for. So we are not looking for like a truck carrying an arm to represent Touch-A-Truck. And so the prompt just basically gave her the overview, anything a designer that we might hire would need. And so we met with Marissa to go over the prompt and explain how we would use the logo and poster, and said this is an event for parents of young children. Needs to be fun, needs to be colorful, needs to be accessible. And so we worked back and forth. We saw a draft, we sent it back with changes, we got another draft, sent it back. And not that it was bad, we were developing along the way. Can we go back to the original poster, please? Okay, so if you look at the poster on the left, Marissa drew that truck by hand in Illustrator, which is pretty impressive. So she showed just amazing skills in Illustrator, and what she came up with was very close to what you see here. We just kind of helped her tweak it a little bit. We told her about logo placement, branding. We wanted to ensure that this met our Park District branding standards. So you can see she snuck in some color from our logo to make it consistent. It's fun, it's creative, it's accessible. And so also, throughout the process, Ms. T was here to coach her on different aspects of design and show her little tips and tricks. And Marissa finished the project in early May. And maybe scroll through to the event photo. And that's how we used it there. And as you can see, once again, we had a great turnout for Touch-A-Truck. It was just such a fun day. And we look forward to continuing our collaboration with the student in the future.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that she used the colors from the
yeah.
logo, which was cool.
Yes.
Question, are these examples of ones that other students had turned in?
No, oh, I'm sorry.
Or just like you found them online?
Yeah, we were looking for comparable events just to see what kind of incorporated, because we didn't. Sometimes for an event like that, there's a lot of very heavy illustration and then some type that goes with it. It's not really a logo.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we were looking for. And you also have some feedback here from Ms. T.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for giving us time during your meeting to kind of share the experience. And I just want to be, Gail has been such a treasure since she showed up at the Park District. And her support with the students through the mentorship over the last couple of years has just been phenomenal, because, you know, as a teacher, I'm one person, and in a classroom we have like all the students that can, you know, but they don't have that language for feedback and all of that. So having this professional that does this for realsies and can come in and give feedback from another perspective has just been incredible for the program. And thank you for supporting her, partnering with us, and for letting her come to Valleys on the days that we do the competitions. And we got to have Katie this year too, and it's such a cool day to see for the kids to do this. And I think that why I'm so thankful for this experience is because, you know, when she had this idea of kind of following from the Valleys example and doing something with us, and we've done something in the past a few years ago, pre-Gail. But I think what was really cool about this is because, you know, she brought it to me and I was like trying to think of a student, and I have, you know, base level classes and then advanced level classes. And I always want to try to, there's kids that we know are going into graphic design, they love it, they breathe it, they're ready for it. But then there's kids that aren't sure. And so I like to give these kind of opportunities to kids that aren't sure, because they're thinking about it, but they don't really know what that looks like. And so having opportunities like this are so important, because they get to see what it's like to work with a creative director, and having two bosses and getting kind of two feedbacks, which was really cool this year, and to see what it's, you know, one way that design works in real life. And like we've talked about a lot too, like in your community. And so I love, you know, partnering in the community, because then they know kids right here are seeing it, and it's a way you can serve your community. It's a skill that you don't just go to New York and work with. It's something you can do here, anywhere. So all of those, but, you know, I think as a career teacher and an arts teacher, those are the things that are so important to me. And Gail has just, you know, brought things to her that I would never look at and see, because I'm a teacher, and she comes at it with a lens of not just the design, but also like how to help someone grow. So she's a gem. I'm so thankful. Thank you. And thank you, Katie, for coming. And thank you guys for having us and making these partnerships, because it means the world to kids to be able to see what they're learning and why, and what it can do in the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's fantastic. And all the things that she brings us after these, you know, collaborations are always fantastic. So, you know, it's not like, you know, it's a stretch for us to, you know,
to say yes.
wonderful.
So thank you.
Yeah.
I wish we had a before picture of what our old touch truck would look like, and then you would improve.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Love it.
Thank you very much. All right, 8B, our auditor's presentation. One of the most exciting things we've done here. So, Tom Swicky, right?
That's right, yep.
Look at me. From Sikich, who's going to talk to us about the auditor's report.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Tom Swicky, Director with Sikich. We're the auditors for the district's December 31st, 2023 fiscal year end. So thank you for giving me a few minutes tonight to go through the results of the audit. Thanks to Brent and everybody in the finance team as well for all of their assistance during the audit process this year. It was smooth from start to finish. And I know we can ask for a lot of information, so I appreciate all the help there. So as a result of the audit, we issued 2 reports. The larger of the 2 is the annual comprehensive financial report, or the audit report, and the smaller report is the auditor's communication to the Board of Commissioners, or the board report. So I'll just touch on some high-level comments out of both of these reports here. If you'd like to follow along in the audit report on page III, this is the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The district issues an annual comprehensive financial report, and what makes it comprehensive is some additional information, the introductory and statistical sections. That's to go above and beyond the minimum reporting requirements as required by GASB. And as a result of that, the district submits their annual report to GFOA. And this particular certificate here is for the submission of last year's report, and it's the 13th consecutive award the district has earned. And then Brent will be uploading or submitting this report as well, and we anticipate the district will get its 14th award next year. The next page, on page IV, is the transmittal letter. This is just a good summary overview of some of the things going on in the district. It's a more non-financial in nature, so some of the initiatives being undertaken and some of the projects in place. Flipping past that then, starting in the financial section of the report, page 1 is the independent auditor's report section of the report. As part of our audit, we have to follow 2 sets of standards, generally accepted auditing standards issued by the ASCPA, and then the governmental reporting requirements as issued by GASB. In accordance with those standards, I'm pleased to note we issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. That's also known as a clean audit opinion. It's the highest level of assurance we can provide. The financial statements are free from material misstatements, so congrats on that as well. The rest of the independent auditor's report then just touches on a couple other matters, including what our responsibilities are and then what management's responsibilities are for the financials. Flipping past that then on MD&A page 1, this starts the management's discussion and analysis section of the report. And so just as the name describes here, management discusses and analyzes the financial information. So Brent put this together and did a really nice job. What this does a good job of is taking not only the current year information, but comparing to the prior year, and then offering explanations on why some of those balances change. So the rest of the report really is just what was the balances as of FY23 during the year, at the end of the year. This takes that information, compares to last year, and then adds some context to the numbers too. So I always like to point out, if you don't read anything else in this 100-page report, I'd encourage you to read through the MD&A section. Flipping past that though, starting on page 4 starts the basic financial statements. So page 4 is the statement of net position for the district. This is essentially your balance sheet for what we call the entity-wide statements here. It includes all of your regular fund financial information, but also some long-term activity like your capital assets and your long-term liabilities as well. The next page, page 5, is your statement of activities, essentially your income statement for your entity-wide statements. This schedule is useful to see your change in your net position. So essentially, are you economically better off or worse than the prior fiscal year? So at the bottom, you'll see the change in net position increase of $950,000 during FY23. Flipping past that, at page 6 and 7 starts the fund financial statements. This particular schedule is the balance sheet for your governmental funds, broken up into your major funds and then one aggregate non-major column, focusing on your general and rec funds as those are your main operating funds. If you look at your fund balance, I would like to see if that's within your fund balance policy. So the general fund had about 9 months worth of expenditures in fund balance. The rec fund had about 10. Those are both within your fund balance policies there. A couple pages after that, page 9 and 10, is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. Again, focusing on your general and rec funds here. At the bottom, you see the net change in fund balance had a decrease of about $675,000 in your general fund and a decrease of $150,000 in your rec fund, but that's after transfers out to the capital projects fund in accordance with your capital development plan. So those are all the basic financial statements there. Starting on page 12 is your notes to the financial statements here. Just provides additional information, additional context for some of those numbers we went through a little bit earlier there. One other schedule I'd like to point out is on page 39 and 40, and this is your net pension liability and related ratios for your IMRF, the defined benefit pension plan for the employees. Just look at the column on the right, or the top part of the schedule there, 2022. That's the most recent information available. We use 1-year-old data. That's a function of the timing of when the information is available from IMRF, so we don't have to delay the issuance of the audit. So as of 2022, the plan had about $1.4 million in net pension liability. That actually was a net pension asset last year of $1.2 million. The reason for that large fluctuation was the poor market conditions in calendar year 22. So in 23, I would anticipate that would flip back or come closer down to zero, or to decrease that net pension liability number. But if you look on page 40, at the top there, you can see the funded status of the plan. It's about 89% funded. IMRF is one of the best funded plans in the state, so there's no concern with that pension liability there. So. The rest of the report are really just budget versus actual schedules for your individual funds. So good information to see how your funds performed during the year versus how you budgeted for them. And then the last section of the report is the statistical section. That contains information A lot of the schedules are 10 years worth of data, so really good to see how the finances of the district have trended over the past decade there. And then the other report, I'll just touch on real quick here, what's contained within here. It includes our management letter and any deficiencies we identify, internal controls or recommendations for improvement. I'm happy to note we had no comments this year to address. And then the ones that we had last year, there were 2 comments. Both of those were addressed and implemented this year. So kudos to Brent and all the hard work we put in this year during the audit process. So with that, those are the high-level comments I wanted to touch on tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
No comments from an audit, typical? I mean, is that,
That's good news.
Yes.
I know it's good news, but I'm just saying, is that something that like if you're doing with other people that they got a bunch of comments?
Yeah, typically we'd have like something we'd identify usually. So it's really good not to have us
And that's
identify
actually what I was going to
deficiency.
bring up is kudos,
Yeah,
because
okay.
most of this information is no surprise, right? I mean, obviously some of it we don't always go over, but the true transparency that you bring in all of your reports that we do and those special meetings that we have, that he goes over all the numbers, all of that stuff is in here. So there's not like a, oh man, what's that?
Right.
So awesome job. Fantastic. So I don't have any questions. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
So this is fantastic. I love the fact that we don't have that big, huge 200-page book here. I love it. I know we have to have a paper copy.
We made sure.
But I love the fact that it's all right here. I can read it right here. I don't need that book. So thank you for that. Fantastic. I like to save a tree or two every once in a while.
Go green.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Everyone have a good evening.
You too.
you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, awesome job. Thank you very much. I know it's a lot of work putting all this together, and it's like 11 and a half point something months worth of work, right? But yeah, fantastic.
And I have to give Brent's credit as well, because in that time he had his first baby.
Yeah, all
And
put
he
together.
also ended up getting a CPA too.
Oh, really? Yeah,
All at the same time.
all that together.
You're really something, Brent.
Here to Brent.
Kind of makes everybody else feel a little
Feel a little
insufficient.
less than.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Thanks a lot for that. Brent. Yeah.
Well, it is a team effort. I mean, we're all involved in the financial aspect of the district, so it's not just me. So,
But it starts with you, so take the credit. It's awesome. You did an awesome job. Thank you. All right, 8C, better sustainable outdoor lighting presentation. So Adam Cruiser?
Yes.
Oh, that's 2.
Yes, cruiser like a ship. Thanks so much for asking me to join you tonight. I'm here to speak on behalf of Batavia's nocturnal environment. I don't know that you address it that much, but that's why I'm here. My ask tonight is for the board at some point in time in the future to consider signing and enacting a resolution to be more dark sky friendly. The actual title of the resolution is Better Sustainable Outdoor Lighting. I don't know if we have our... So again, my name is Adam Cruiser. I'm a delegate with what is now known as Dark Sky International, once known as the International Dark Sky Association. The International Dark Sky Association has been the global leader in trying to address what would be better outdoor lighting at night so that we're more dark sky friendly. Next slide, please. I don't know if any of you have actually witnessed the dark sky recently, but if not for light pollution here and in our Chicagoland area, this is what we might be able to see, including the Milky Way, which should extend from horizon to horizon on any summer evening, winter evening, etc. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, not too many people, especially in our more urban areas, can see the dark sky anymore. We can't see the Milky Way. Currently, here in Batavia, on a good night, probably the best of nights, you might be able to see 30 stars. We should be able to see 2,000 to 3,000 stars with our naked eyes every night, if not for light pollution. Next slide, please. This more or less shows you the increase in light pollution since the 1950s. And a lot of this increase is due to the introduction of LED lighting, which is a new beast for us to try to appreciate better. You can see sky glow, for example, over Lake Michigan, albeit there's not a light bulb on the lake. Next slide, please. And light pollution is increasing at more than 2% annually. The new study is that it's increasing at about 10% annually. So you'll see that basically where we are here in Batavia is we're confronted with a city sky. We would prefer to be more rural and maybe even have a dark sky status. Next slide, please. LEDs are new. I don't know the extent to which the Batavia Park District has started to introduce LEDs, but as compared to where it has been historically the light bulbs that we've been using, LEDs are now introducing new wavelengths that we haven't had before, and more specifically the blue wavelength. And that's basically causing us not just increased issues with light pollution, but also hazards with our personal health and the health of our wildlife friends. Next slide, please. So there are many light pollution consequences. I certainly won't address all of them. Next slide, please. Energy waste. One of the better things you can do is to convert to LEDs. It'll save you a ton of money if you haven't already decided to do that. Basically almost 90% compared to what you've been using historically. But with LEDs, there are consequences. Regardless, every time we have a light off or we're using less lights, we're also using less energy and we're contributing less to climate change, greenhouse gases, etc. Next slide, please. Human health is a new issue with LEDs. There's many studies that suggest that this blue light that we're now confronted with LEDs is affecting our circadian rhythm and how well we sleep at night. And that, unfortunately, has consequences with respect to our health, both physically and cognitively. There are studies that suggest that we have more incidences with obesity, which of course has its own issues from a health perspective. And there are studies that suggest that with light pollution, especially with LEDs, we have higher incidences of both breast cancer and prostate cancer. Next slide, please. Ecological impacts, which I would think would be certainly important for the park district. Next slide, please. Typically, I'll go through a lot of different, basically, animals, if you will, mammals, and how light pollution affects them, especially with the LEDs and the blue light. But this graphic here more or less shows all of what I would otherwise talk about. Amphibians, frogs don't like light pollution, they mate less. Reptiles, again, they mate less, they don't like light pollution. Insects, I don't know if you know, but we do have an insect apocalypse, and a lot of that is because insects are attracted to blue light, especially. So instead of pollinating our native species, they're circling lights, they're tiring, and they're more subjected to predation. And then I'd like to think most of you have heard about the consequences with respect to birds, especially migrating birds. Unfortunately, they come into our lighted cities and basically get lost in the cities, and all too often strike glass buildings. Of course, they may not survive that. Next slide, please. We can make a difference, and my ask will not cause you to increase what would otherwise be budgeted to your future outdoor lighting expenditures. So to the extent that you want to do something, wherever that may be, I'd like you to think about your choice. Next slide, please. So this is basically the 5 principles that we ask you to follow, and with the resolution that we've suggested, basically that's what this is. Is the light useful? Is it targeted? How can we decrease the light levels? Is it controlled? And of course, color. Next slide, please. So basically, we want to think twice about whether we need the light. Should we turn the light off? Should we reduce the light? In other words, bring it down 50, 60, 70, 90% at night. How many lights do we actually need wherever we're lighting, whatever the premises may be? Next slide, please. Shielding is very important. I'm not sure the extent to which Batavia currently shields its outdoor lights, but we want to try to bring that light onto the ground where we want it as compared to out where it could cause glare and actually make us less secure. And of course, we don't want that light going into the sky. Statistics suggest that 70%, if not more, of our outdoor lighting that we use at night is completely wasted. It's not focused where we need it for what we need it for. Next slide, please. Blue light. So as you'll see here, as you look to the right, you'll see the introduction of blue light in bulbs that we now can purchase with LEDs. We want to stay in a more amber color, which is more to the left. These more amber colors decrease the amount of blue light that we're exposing our environment to. Next slide, please. And we also want to address brightness. Brightness is especially important with LEDs. LEDs are very intense. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but they're certainly much more bright than what we would otherwise use. And you can see with LEDs, for example, the amount of watts that are necessary to cause the similar amount of brightness on lumens is significantly less than with LEDs that we've been using historically. So in other words, light can be much more bright if we're using a 60-watt LED as compared to a 60-watt fluorescent bulb, i.e. CFL. So we want to think about the brightness level that we're using with the LED that we produce. Next slide, please. Advocacy. If you decide to actually enact a resolution, you would be the 5th park district in the state to do that. Currently, Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Naperville, and Geneva have signed resolutions. We have 3 forest preserve districts, Cook County, DuPage County, and most recently Kane County, I think in the last 2 weeks, that have signed resolutions, basically policy statements. We also have pending on the governor's desk currently a statute that will govern all properties owned and managed by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. It passed unanimously through the Senate this year and passed, albeit partisanly, through the House of Representatives. And I expect that the governor's going to sign that. So we will now have our first statute in the entire country that addresses what the Illinois Department of Natural Resources will do with respect to how they approach outdoor lighting. So we'd like you to be an advocate. We'd like you to be a leader on this. Next, please. For example, in Glen Ellen, they have now what is, I think, the first, maybe the second now, actual outdoor sports lighting program that's International Dark Sky approved. So they went through a design and also an implementation phase where they received certification from the Dark Sky International certifying body that they have dark sky lighting. So kudos to Glen Ellen. Next slide, please. Because every day needs a night. So again, what I ask is that you consider signing a resolution. Any questions?
No, this is I actually have a telescope. I love looking up at the sky, but I appreciate that your presentation actually answered a lot of questions I had in my mind, but I'm still challenged with how we can be dark night compliant and have the safety that we have with a lot of our lighting that we have today, like in parking lots and some of our parks and stuff. And I'm getting that it's more of direction of the light. Is that what I'm hearing? Well, I understand that the lumens and so forth, but sometimes we really can't get away with that because we really need some light for protection. But is part of that really the direction that we're sending that light rather than the actual brightness of that light?
Well, it's both. So with LEDs, the lights are just much more bright than what we've used historically. So the amount that you might need is less from an LED from the perspective of lumens and watts. as compared to what you've been using. So you want to think about that when you're comparing an LED to what you've been using before.
Right, but it's still brighter, right? I mean,
LEDs are very bright.
right. And
Regardless
so
of the
even
color.
though it's less wattage and less, it's still brighter. But
Still bright.
I'm wondering how we light our parking lots to make sure that they're safe. How we light some of our pavilions and whatnot to make sure that they're safe, but also try to be, I mean, if we were going to try to come up with some sort of resolution, right, the way some of these other partners, how do we do, because I'm more concerned right now, about the safety of the folks that use our parks and systems than I am about the light.
Yeah.
But I'd like to bring that in and say, okay, we can do both. So
Well,
how do we do both?
Yeah, well, you absolutely can. And with better direction, you'll actually be more safe.
Okay.
So there are not any peer-reviewed studies that actually show that more light, more white light, more bright light is more safe. And there's some studies that suggest otherwise. So for example, if you just think about a car approaching you with the new LEDs, it's constricting your pupils. You're actually seeing less peripherally and so on and so forth. So you're almost shielding your lights when you're confronted with that. What you want to do is you want to have the shielding so that light's coming down on the ground where you want it. So let's just say this is your parking lot here. You want your light focused on your parking lot, not out away from your parking lot or up into the sky. So you're still very secure. You just want to think about how can I reduce that light so that it's not glare, so that it's not exposing our natural sky to that light.
Yeah, I still have a question. I appreciate what you're saying, but having it go out wider means we can use less lights to light up our entire parking lot, right? Because it's covering more ground. And sometimes safety is the perception of having light, right? So it's like, I'm not going to do something in there because it's so bright. So I hear what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I'm still challenged with it. I think that's going to be the challenge that we have if we're going to have some sort of resolutions. How do we maintain, instead of having 10 lights in our parking lot that are directed, we can get away with 4 that are wider spread.
But they can still be directionally down as opposed to up, right?
Right. And so if it's all just down, we need more lights for that, right? To light up our entire.
I guess that would be something like maybe we should ask Geneva how they're addressing the safety aspect. I mean, it sounds like they just, maybe they probably had similar questions.
Could be, yeah. And how much meat is behind the resolution? We need to find out too. So.
I grew up in Tucson, Arizona in the 90s, and they've always been very into light because of a lot of the astrological stuff, like everything's orange, the amber lighting, and once you hit a certain elevation of the city, there's no street lights. It's pitch black, and then just beautiful skies. And I always thought it was weird down on campus, why are all those lights are orange there? But someone explained to me it's a lot of the light pollution. They've been tempering that for decades.
We have a unique situation with the quarry too, whereas lighting is a deterrent for kids jumping the fence and swimming at night. So the police officers, when they drive by,
it's perception of it is, yeah.
So we need to find a balance.
Yeah.
Well, your resolution would not put any restrictions with you in black and white. You would basically be resolving to think about shielding, about the color temperature of your lights, and about the brightness. Maybe controls too, motion sensors. Being able to control the amount of light at certain periods of time. Why do you need light at 3 a.m. that you would otherwise want at 9 p.m.? So, but getting back to the exposure, basically, whether you're on a horizontal or you're directing it down at some angle, whether it's 4 lamps or 10 lamps, your goal is to light the entire parking lot that you want lit. It's very technologically feasible.
Yeah, and I appreciate your presentation, and even before we come up with some sort of resolution, if we ever do, I think just the fact that you brought this will get folks thinking about, what we do. So, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
All right. Can we turn the lights on?
Yes, yeah.
See what I did?
Very funny.
Yeah, that's good.
I know, I started thinking, is it really bright in here? Right.
Item number 9, correspondence. We have an email from Tricia, who's a partner at Waterman Winery and Vineyards, expressing appreciation and gratitude for the successful Batavia Uncorked event, which was fantastic. You know, I have firsthand knowledge of people who were there. I love the event. Are definitely going back next year, and had suggestions, you know, to space things out. Some I thought were a little like, you can't do that there, but whatever. But their biggest was an Uber drop-off and pickup station. So they did use an Uber, and they could not find their car. So I think you see what I'm saying. Yeah. So. Great. Item number 10, what we've waited for all evening, announcements.
Oh my gosh.
Drum roll.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Batavia. It's so hot outside, but we are keeping things cool at Hall Quarry Beach. Not only does it have great amenities like sandy sand and jumping platforms and sprinkle mushrooms, but it also has nice, refreshing water sure to cool you down to help you beat the summer heat. So, beat the heat at Batavia's historical summer destination. The quarry is open daily beginning at noon, and please check our website for the full hours and schedules. And do you know what else will help you beat the heat? The next free River Rhapsody concert on July 17th features Classical Blast. You can enjoy classical rock music mashed with music from great composers such as Bach, Beethoven, Handel, Mozart, and Chopin. The concert begins at 7 p.m. at the Peg Bond Center, and the free concert series continues through July. This month, if you follow us on social media, you have noticed that the district has been celebrating National Park and Recreation Month. As part of this celebration, we want to thank you, the community who enjoys and supports the Park District programming, events, and natural areas. We appreciate you and want to celebrate you, everyone, as being an important part of Park and Recreation. Beginning next week, July 22nd through the 26th, look on social media for fun games, giveaways, and activities that celebrate you, the customers and residents of Batavia. There'll be a special 80s themed gift for everyone who attends the River Rhapsody concert on Wednesday. It is 80s themed music, so come dressed up in your best outfits. And everyone, as well as Batavia Park District customers, their friends and families, are invited to attend a special customer appreciation evening at Hall Quarry Beach on July 26th, beginning from 5 to 7 that evening. So that's free entry to the quarry because we love everyone in the community and you are vital to making us a Park and Recreation department. So while I'm dreaming of summer fun at the quarry, which is free entrance on the 26th, in-district registration, don't forget to register for fall programs. I said don't fall behind on autumnal fun. Registration also begins July 22nd for fall programs. And then tickets are on sale now for Pints by the Pond, which is the beer version of the wine, which Commissioner Tillman spoke about. This event did sell out last year in August, so purchase your passes, your tickets online before they are tapped out. So these are all the announcements for this evening. So get out, stay cool, enjoy some of the upcoming special events, and explore your local park. And as always, play your way, Batavia.
Awesome. Thank you. It just kept getting better. Just nonstop.
And now it's Brits.
All righty. Item number 11, staff reports.
Yes. Well, we are going to kick off staff reports a little differently this time, since we have been blessed with the board-approved 3 internships. So we're going to kick it off with our interns. And again, thanks to the Park Board for approving us to have the interns. They've helped us out tremendously this summer, especially with Brittany out on maternity leave, Nathaniel out on paternity leave. And they really stepped up to the plate. They put a glove on, they said, put me in the game, and they are here tonight to give kind of a wrap-up final report. So I'll ask to come to the podium if Haley Katowski can come to the podium first. She has created a presentation, specifically marketing was her department, and she'll give you an insight as to how her entire internship went this summer. And you can just tell me to flip and I'll get to the next page.
Okay. Hello, my name is Haley Katowski, and as Allison mentioned, I was the marketing intern this summer. Just a little background, I'm going to be a junior at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I am studying advertising and minoring in recreation, sport, and tourism. Next slide. So over the summer, I've done multiple activities, events, lots of good things, learned lots of things. Some overview, just done some signage programs, did some writing, experienced how to write professionally. As us 3 interns, as Katie mentioned, is doing a Park and Rec Month. We organized events, promoted it through social media with our own original materials. And then also some interns were tasked with taking photos of our parks and uploading them to our website to maintain the website and to a new update the parks pictures. So starting off with some signage and programs, some of these that I designed were for Program Senior Expo and then Windmill City Fest. In conjunction with these, I worked with a marketing team to get the logos, get our sponsors, double check information. We also were promoting our soccer league for fall soccer league, so I designed this poster or a guard sign, which was put up during Windmill City Fest. Also during Windmill City Fest, we have Unplugged Illinois. This was Unplugged Illinois Day. It was on Saturday in conjunction with IPRA, and we also promoted this through our National Park and Rec Month. So this poster was designed to promote Unplugged Day and to promote people getting outside and enjoying the space. Also, we have our mid-season quarry passes that were on sale this past week. So I designed this poster to promote that, which was also a social media version sent out on Facebook and Instagram. And this poster is hanging up in our Civic Center and Eastside Center. In addition, some writings, worked with the marketing team to learn how to write a press release. And so just a little screenshot, I wrote up a press release for one of our Depot Museum events, as well as we are currently working on the Batavian articles. So I am writing 2 Batavian articles as well, which will be in the next Batavian. So as I mentioned, National Park and Rec Month is throughout July. The interns and we come up with a few activities to promote this. And so I mainly focus on social media materials and promotion materials. So the first longer one on the left with a list of activities was used in our senior newsletter. And then I made individual posts, such as the scavenger hunt one, for example, to promote on our social media pages. So each event, the scavenger hunt, popsicles, and free night at Hall Quarry Beach were all created individually. In addition, I had an unplugged one separately because we wanted to promote unplugged a lot. So I had various unplugged promotions. And then our scavenger hunt, we wanted to use some stickers as prizes. So we designed stickers on your right side. And then the letter card I designed for the scavenger hunt as well. So at each stop in the park, you write down your little letter that you find, bring it to the Civic Center, Eastside Center, and then receive your sticker as your prize.
We'll be able to use these for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's some various pictures from our Park and Rec Month journey so far. We went out in the beginning of July and took pictures of Bruce to use in our promotion. You may have seen on our Facebook, Bruce was out there. He was in a reel also that we filmed. Is that just like getting out of like a van? Yes.
I was cracking up. Is that you? Who is that? Who's in it?
I'm
What do you mean, who's in it?
Bruce, sorry.
Don't run. Who are you talking about? Next you're going to say there's no Santa Claus. Get out of here.
Okay, anyway,
Who's in it?
it was Bruce.
The magic is nothing.
Exactly.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So we did that promotion-wise. A picture of some posters that we use at River Rhapsody to promote Park Rec Month and the scavenger hunt specifically, and Bruce made a little appearance at River Rhapsody. Bruce also made an appearance at our Popsicle at the Park event, and then in the bottom row, the third picture on your left is a scavenger hunt photo. So we set up 6 yard signs in 6 different parks, and that is an example of one of them at Angstrom Park.
Bruce was there on Sunday, because I got a picture of Bruce.
He was.
And that finger wasn't pointing.
Yeah.
That finger wasn't pointing at anybody.
No, it wasn't. I was just saying that I did.
So next, I took some park photos and updated the website. So as you can see, this is Wind Energy Park. On the left, we have a before version of the original website page for wind energy. And as you can tell, the park changed. We updated the structure. So the website needed to be updated to reflect that. So we took a variety of pictures of all the amenities, the signage, and then have one headline picture and then included a rest of the pictures down below. Also, if the description needed to be updated or the amenities needed to be updated, we updated those as well. For example, one of the parks we wanted to focus on distance-wise, so wind energy is close to another park. So we linked in the description where the other park could be in like walking distance, biking distance, and then link that to their webpage.
I like that.
Good.
It's nice to have the multiple pictures. A lot of times I end up having to go to like, find
Yes.
pictures in the park, you look at people's pictures. So.
Yeah. Yes, and so just some examples of our park photography. It was nice to be able to work on my photography skills and try out some different things. So some examples from various parks that we went to. We're still working on this project, but we made a lot of headway, so it's good to see.
Just in time for the new website.
Exactly. So that is the end of my list of projects and presentations that I've been working on. But I wanted to emphasize that I really enjoyed this experience so far and really appreciate it. Just because that in my journey in my career, I'm still unsure of what I want to do, and being able to have some real world first hands-on experience is really beneficial, and to see what I like. And what path I want to go on. So it's very appreciative. So thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome. How did the scavenger hunt, did you have a lot of people participate?
We did, yes. We had a number of people pick up scavenger hunt cards at River Rhapsody, and then we have some number of people pick up stickers at both centers.
Awesome.
We hope you were bit by the Parks and Recreation bug.
Yeah.
That was Katie's hope, is to win you over in the marketing department.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, this kind of stuff is invaluable. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you got a lot out of it. So fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, next up to bat, we have Annie Mullenhouse. Batavia.
Okay, I'm Annie Mullenhouse. I'm the recreation and marketing intern. So I got a little bit of the best of both worlds this summer, working 2 days a week with marketing and then 3 days a week over on the east side working recreation. A little bit about myself. I'm a Batavia native. I've lived in Batavia my whole life and probably participated in just about every program possible. There's a picture of me in my Batavia softball uniform.
Batavia success story.
I'm about to start my senior year at Oklahoma State University. I am on the track and field team. I'm a heptathlete, meaning I do 7 events, kind of the girls' version of the decathlon.
Name them. What are they?
The 100 hurdles, long jump, high jump, javelin, shot put, 200, 800.
Should have been on the trolley tour.
That is so.
Yeah.
I wasn't invited.
We're like telling It's all the newbies.
Heptathletes are,
That's awesome.
that's no joke.
Yeah, it keeps me very busy. I don't have a lot of free time over Stillwater, but it's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding. But in my free time, I am doing school. I'm majoring in sports management and marketing, and then this semester I'll also start my master's of business administration. Okay, so on the marketing side of things, I really got to get out of my comfort zone and work on social media. So there are a few of my social media posts, a couple graphic design things I did. The Windmill Whirl Medal design. The middle is my district-wide email I sent out regarding the month of July. So it was just letting them know what we were planning for the National Park and Rec Month. And then on the right is, I did the press release for Windmill City Fest. And then on the recreation side of things, I was kind of just a helping hand wherever they needed me. I've worked a lot of river raft cities. I'm working with Zach and Trey right now to do the Olympic theme day for Camp Sensational. I was the spearhead on the tween night twice, but unfortunately it never actually ran. But we got really good at building balloon arches and setting them up.
It was really cute.
But just kind of getting to see what goes into running an event, the things you don't think about when you're just at the event yourself, all the behind the scenes work, which I was really grateful to learn because I grew much more interested in it and could look for it in a career. And then lastly, Windmill City Fest this past weekend, also just helping out where I could. If you did the golf challenge, I was there on Saturday most of the day. So yeah, that was really exciting because I also grew up going to Windmill City Fest with my parents. They would drop me off in my softball uniform after my softball tournament. And they would go to the beer tent with their friends. And
Smart parents.
We did it. Carnival, right?
We did that after softball.
But so it's been fun to see Batavia in a new light because I grew up going to all of these things. So I'm really grateful to see what goes into it. I grew a new appreciation for all the planning of all these events. Thank you. Finally, National Park and Rec Month has been kind of most of my duties recently. Popsicles in the Park, that should be a video. It was really successful. There were so many people there. It was definitely chaotic. We got swarmed as soon as we got there, but it was exciting to see the kids that excited about something that we had put together. Bruce visited. He was swarmed by kids and they loved it, but it was fun to see the excitement on their faces. We got a lot of good feedback from that, and I think it's something that could happen in the future. Up on the right, you'll see Haley's Unplug design for a sticker. I got really into making stickers this summer. I'm probably somewhere over 1,000. If you need Cricut sticker paper in the town of Batavia, good luck, because I think we bought it all. But it was a lot of fun because that's something that I would have never taken my own time to learn how to do. Now I got to chat with the front desk ladies a lot because I was using the Cricut behind the desk. Other than that, the signage for the scavenger hunt and the clues, I was able to design all of that on Illustrator, so if you saw that on social media or out in the parks. And then we are ending the month with our free Corey night, and we'll be giving out more stickers there. But that's kind of a wrap on my duties for the summer.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
You used one of my favorite PowerPoint templates.
Thank you.
All right, and last but certainly not least, it's my pleasure to introduce Trey Erweiler, Moose Heart president. Batavia High School graduate.
Yes.
Just have to figure out how to get to your presentation.
No worries.
You minimize.
Minimize all of it?
Just like shrink the.
Yeah,
Go back to
didn't
the
work.
to the PowerPoint. Just the Microsoft Edge.
Yeah, Microsoft
Do you have it open in Edge?
I was so close. Lindsay prepped it for me, so I'm not quite sure what, it's a PDF, so that. You're doing it.
It's just hidden. Here you go.
It's just hidden.
It was hidden, yeah, that's, I'm like, how do I get under there? Okay, thank you for those of you watching at home. Audrey will hopefully edit that 2 minutes. Sorry, what?
No, never mind.
It's all good.
All right, so hello everybody. My name is Trey Erweiler and this is my Batavia Park District internship experience. I am a recreation intern for the summer. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Batavia. I've lived here my whole life and I'm currently a rising senior at Aurora University, so just down the road. I'm double majoring there in sport management and parks and recreation. I'm also a student athlete. I play football there. And some of my hobbies include just working out, sports, hanging out with my family and friends, and just being outside. So some of my day-to-day responsibilities, I will say one of the things that I really enjoyed about this specific internship was how different each day could be. You know, one day I'd be in the office for most of the day or attending meetings, and the next day I'd be power washing the quarry or prepping ball fields or something like that. But I really did enjoy that. I was in charge of our spring softball leagues, which is for 6 through 14U. I also oversaw our all-star sports leagues and classes. And then the interns and I, like they said, worked on the National Park and Recreation Month. And then Annie and I are working on the Olympic Day field day for Camp Sensational, which is coming up here on July 31st. And then I also attended a lot of special events. I worked them and was a big part of the upbringing of them. Touch a Truck, Uncorked, River Rhapsody, Era's Night, Windmill City Festival, and some more. And then I also just tried to assist the recreation supervisors in any way I could. You know, I always tried to make sure they knew I was there to help. I always wanted to do the dirty work, as I think that goes a long way. So.
Trey was the first to volunteer to step in and very proactive, I have to admit.
Thank you. So now a little bit as to what I learned. So first and foremost, just the ins and outs of the Batavia Park District, right? So like I said, I've lived here for 20 years and I never really realized how many programs the Park District offers, how big it is, just how involved the Park District is, and how many different departments there are within the Park District. So I was able to really gain valuable experience with marketing, technology, finance, maintenance, and trades, which was awesome, just so I could see how this place works and what makes this place so special. And then I also learned how to run a softball league. So this was kind of a big thing for me. So it was kind of nice to have some responsibility. To have some parents and coaches looking to me for answers was kind of cool. A little hectic at times, but it was fun. I would say probably the biggest thing is communication, right? You know, you're having coaches, parents, umpires, your field maintenance crew, and different park districts. They all have to be on the same page and understand what's going on. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing with the softball league. And then I also learned how to plan an event. So like I said, I attended a lot of those events, and I was really able to see what Lori, what Beth Ann, and what Zach do to put on these events in such a good way. And then I was able to actually implement that into my own little micro events, such as the National Parks and Rec Month, where we had a month-long scavenger hunt. We had a Popsicles in the Park Day, where over 300 people came to the park. And then we also have a free core night coming up here at the end of the month. So. And then I also learned the RecTrack software. So for those of you that don't know, the RecTrack software is the software that the Park District uses to really track just about anything. You can cancel classes, refund people, see how many people are enrolled in programs, and see what fields are rented and much more. And this was valuable to me because if I want to continue to work in park districts, most other park districts use RecTrack as well. And then I also wrote this press release for National Parks and Rec Month, kind of just outlining all of the events throughout the month. It was a type of writing that I have never really done before, so It was pretty good. It got picked up, so I guess that's a good sign. And then last but certainly not least, I learned a lot about Bruce the Spruce this summer, and you can go to the next slide. So here's some pictures of Bruce the Spruce. You know, I'm not exactly sure who was Bruce the Spruce this summer, but I heard he was pretty cool, so we'll just leave it at that. You can go to the next slide. But more importantly, you know, I'm extremely thankful for this opportunity. I really understand now what it takes to work at a top workplace. I think the culture here is great. You know, we have people here that care about people. The communication across departments is impressive, and we have people that go the extra mile. And I really think that's contagious, and it sets a standard. And I really appreciate. I always felt like I was in a position to succeed, which is important to me. And so yeah, I'm just thankful for this opportunity, and that's it. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well, Trey has a great role model. His dad is the executive director at Moose Heart. And so he's experienced recreation from a different standpoint and experienced facility management, again, different lens, but was very attracted to this opportunity at Batavia Park District. So I have to say, all three interns, I mean, just hit it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Literally, physically, and figuratively. We're really lucky to have them.
Great job.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have all of you.
Haley, are you a Batavia grad also?
I have to say Charles Moore.
Did you two know Miss T at all? Ever happened?
Rosary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already said, I know he would.
I know you would be. All right, we've heard your name.
Watch them play every week.
Yeah, great job.
All right, we still have staff reports,
We
right?
do.
How do we follow that though?
There's
See, well, at least now you have a buffer between the announcements and.
Although those were very
Of course,
impressive.
yeah, you still have.
Right. Yeah, I was excited.
Yeah, you really.
The night off from
I'm
following.
trying to help you, man. We really didn't have.
Better than my report, yeah. Really. They set the bar high.
Exactly, they sure did. All right, well, staff reports.
All right, Brent, you've got the floor. How are you?
Yeah.
Just the last thing I wanted to mention on the audit is that the full report is available on the Park District website, just in case anybody does want to access it. And then we submitted a $27,000 approximately request to the city of Batavia for reimbursement of land cash funds. So we're making sure to stay on top of requesting those funds so we can get them into our capital projects fund as soon as possible. And then thank you to all the volunteers that came out for Windmill City Fest held at the Beer Garden. I am responsible for the Beer Garden at the festival, and this year we actually teamed up with a local brewery in Batavia called Sturdy Shelter to have craft beer at the festival, which was a very successful.
It was a big hit,
Yeah.
yeah, big hit.
Yeah, people were
I
excited about
I
it.
love the new layout, that gave us a lot more space.
Yeah,
You know,
it was this
fantastic.
guy's idea.
Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Josh.
Fantastic, yeah.
Josh, you're something too.
Like, I know how to set up. I know how to set up.
So the land cash, where is that from? What are we submitting that from?
So we're submitting actually based on capital projects that we did from last year. So these are funds that the city had on hand. So it's not related to the new development
Okay,
going in.
okay,
Land cash donations.
okay,
Right.
okay. I didn't know if it was tied to like one of the things that we've approved already that we're getting.
So it's kind of like with the Peter Frieders Park,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that Prairie Commons subdivision. We didn't accept all of that land, but we
Gotcha.
accepted some, and we had cash in lieu of money.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for staying on top of that, because there was a time we had an accumulation.
We learned our lesson.
Yeah. So, yeah, awesome, awesome.
Great. Thanks, Brent.
That's it.
All right, Josh.
Yeah, just a couple quick CDP updates. So we're great progress out at West Main for the pickleball courts. So we had the asphalt laid last Friday. So this tomorrow, actually, the fence is going up, and then we will be color coding and putting the shade structures up. So we're very hopeful for the September 1st substantial completion. And then Clark Island, we're actually starting demo tomorrow. So you know, that's going to go quickly. So Yeah,
That is
so we're
exciting.
hoping for the October 1st substantial completion on that
I
one.
did get a question from someone, what's going on over at West Main? I was like, well, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yep, so things are happening, it's gonna go fast. So
And we get a new truck soon.
actually, we got a new truck.
Oh, did you?
Monday.
Oh,
Yesterday.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so got our third and final truck, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Kim.
Quick update on the Peace Garden. We had a really good work day at the end of June. Had some volunteers, had some Parks Foundation members along with some park employees. There's multiple steps in this process, so we dug out a riverbed. The next step will be adding some aggregate to it and installing some plants. And then the final steps are going to be, hopefully everything will be completed at the end of September is the goal. So looking forward to getting that completed. It's going to look great. And then just, for some reason, this last 30 days, we've had a ton of storms. Started with Carriage Crest, and it just keeps going. So we've just, parks guys, we've just been spending a lot of time out in the parks cleaning up some damage.
Any
Carriage
new
Crest.
trees from last night?
What was that, sorry?
Any new trees down from last night?
Carriage Crest had one
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
but we didn't have any trees. We had a ton of just debris and
Just
branches.
stuff blowing everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So luckily, we were lucky.
Our parks look like the back of your yards.
Yeah.
They're great. So, yeah, we lucked out with that one. And that's all I got.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kim. All right, Lynn.
Just a couple highlights. Full-time and fall seasonal positions are in full cycle of recruitment. Looking forward to that with our kids club recruiting for that and a couple full-time positions. And engagement survey is completed. I'd like to announce that last year we were at 6.3% response rate and we were at 75% this year. So a huge increase, so I'm super excited about that. We needed to meet the 70% threshold to be even eligible for top workplace. So we'll hopefully know
Did you
something
say
soon.
6.3 or 60?
64.3.
Oh,
I know,
I was
I
like,
thought
wait a minute.
we did, there's 6.3 and there's 75%. That's
Like one person filled it out last time.
They really raised the bar for me.
That's hilarious.
Went from one person filling it out to
And then finally, I'm working with the Parks Department on a risk insurance grant through Paderma. We'll be submitting that in September for some equipment over at the maintenance shop. And that's about it.
Thanks, Lynn. And Brittany, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. On day 2 of my leave, back from my leave, and I just wanted to say thank you to Lori McDowell. She really stepped up in my absence. I appreciate all of her hard work and everyone here who stepped in to help support her. So thank you to everybody.
We missed you.
Yeah.
You really set the stage for success. You had every document signed for Windmill City Festival, so it was plug and play. Lori really appreciated that. And you know, you had everything, playbooks ready for the interns as well. So it was great. You really set us up to succeed this summer, so thank you.
Thank you. I missed you guys.
All right, Katie.
Okay, well, I'm going to start off with something exciting. So I was going to pass these down. Team Marketing went to visit our printer who handles our printing, Action Printing, for our fun guide. So the guides that you have in front of you, actually, we took off of the presses.
Today, actually.
Today. Off of the presses today. So these options that you're seeing, when we went up there today, we got to explore and tour the facility as well as see with how quality control. So you'll notice that the 3 that you have there are actually pre-cut. So this is what happens after they've been bound. And then the edges are cut off. The edges are trimmed. So this is kind of the process with how the guide is sent. It's actually bound into different packets. and then put together and then trimmed at the end. These were ones that did not meet the stringent quality control. So,
No, these would not meet the quality control. No, I gave that one to you on purpose. That one's yours now, you keep
It
it.
doesn't even open.
Yeah, this one would not pass quality control.
It looks like it was in a storm.
yes, but these are kind of that process. There's a lot that goes into it, and just thought it would be a fun thing for you to see. We're very thankful that we got to go and tour, as well as learn some of the upcoming advances in printing technology that we're hoping to incorporate into some of our future guides. As I mentioned in the announcements, the fun announcements, registration does begin next week for fall programming. We are very excited to showcase the photography in this guide. It was a lot of effort from the interns and from the marketing staff to really go out and make sure that we were getting photos of our residents.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 12, the Executive Director's Report.
Right, the executive.
The Executive Director.
Little playoff, I'd be Ohio State. Good beats. All right. So this year's Windmill City Festival, it was a success despite Mother Nature having us evacuate the crowds, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. Twice on Saturday. It was right dab in the middle of the second band playing on Saturday. We had to evacuate the crowds, and we did have over 1,000 people there, so we gave people advance notice. I was really proud of how our staff, our team handled the exits, the crowd control. We did have a microburst of wind that came. I saw the food vendors, they had stacks of napkins and straws. It was like confetti in the air. We had fencing that just flipped over and cars backing up over the fencing. Our staff remained cool, calm, and collected, kept everybody safe, navigated people to City Hall. We even had some people inside Peg Bond Center with us. But we made sure everybody was out from under the tent. And I'm just really proud of our staff during crisis. So, we believe the show must go on. And I love about Batavia that Batavia is resilient and bounces back. We had 5 times the number of people come back for later on Friday or Saturday night.
It was packed.
Yep,
It's always packed.
completely packed. So Batavia bounced back, and it only took an hour and a half for everybody to come back. And thanks to the marketing department, they have the texting service where people were subscribing to real-time texts that said, we're open again. If you're hungry, come here, come eat. If you're thirsty, come drink. And we carried on as though we weren't soaking wet. So the chamber benefited on Friday night, 10% of the proceeds from alcohol sales, and then on Saturday was the Lions Club that benefited, and then the Batavia Parks Foundation on Sunday. So thank you to those 3 volunteer groups for lending all their hands. We also had the Rotary Club show up to help us with the exits and entrances, which was tremendous. And again, I'm really proud of staff. There were some really long days. I know that they couldn't feel their feet at times, because they were literally from Friday at 8 a.m. to Friday at midnight. Saturday, noon to midnight. Sunday, we had the 5K race. Some people, like Lynn, was there at 5:30 a.m. And then we ended up postponing it an hour, and then we went till 6 o'clock p.m. So I'm really incredibly proud of staff, and they were able to still put on a fantastic show. Again, the residents don't see behind the scenes, the interns now do, and the interns were a huge part of it too. That they came, they saw, they conquered, and again, my mama heart is proud. And the fact, I do have a really cool story to tell, and we did get an email about this. So our 5K was postponed an hour, and the fun run was during that same time. So apparently there were 4 parents, or 2 sets of parents, I should say, that thought it was at 10 o'clock for whatever reason. And so they showed back up at 10 o'clock with 4 children. that were excited to run the fun run. And the fun run had already happened. But the 5K wasn't quite yet over yet. But wait, there's more. There was a walker that Kim was helping corral with the pace car, still making their way through the last mile. And lo and behold, our Katie Burgess over here saw this predicament, and she was the only staff member that was at that area at the time, since we only had one walker getting ready to come through. And she met these parents, met these kids, and had this fantastic idea that, you know what, it's not too late. You can still do the fun run. She worked it out with our Shazam timing system and staff, and she was able to make it happen for them. I just so happened to be walking up at the same time to collect the results so we could do the prizes and awards announcements, and I saw this happen right before my eyes, and I just want to say, congratulations on you made those 4 children, those 4 kids, you made their day. Those families are super proud. There's a really sweet email that just came and say that you'll read next month in your correspondence.
Sounds wonderful.
Good job, ladies.
Very nice.
So the sun came up. Also, we just received notice last week, dun, 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 that we are going to get the grant for King County's Fab Fox grant project. So, so this particular location is at Clark Island.
I don't know what needs to be improved. It's beautiful.
We'll just spray a mural on the site.
Right. Throw your canoe over the top, jump over the wall, and good to go.
I'm not a professional canoeer, but I feel like.
So what chips away at my heart is, I was here back in 2003 when we actually received an OSLIDE grant to restore the shorelines of Clark Island. And part of that was to create this canoe launch. And in 2017, the flooding was just awful. And what would happen is it really became a highway for the Fox River to flood Woodard baseball field. And so the water would literally, because these cinder blocks weren't here, would literally use that canoe chute as a freeway of water. And it would just flood out everything in that whole section of Clark Island. So our former director of Parks and Properties, Eric Locker, had to put these cinder blocks there to act as a retaining wall so we could steer the water in the direction it should have gone. So, so King County has awarded this project to us. So Director of Parks Kim Hansen and Director of Facilities and Trades Josh Wyatt and myself are going to be meeting tomorrow with King County and getting this show on the road, and the project has to be done by the end of 2025. So you're going to see
cinder blocks are functional and good looking.
That's right.
So I don't know why we want to get rid of those.
But you know, it'll be great. This will be great because it'll create accessibility south of our existing dam that we don't have at all.
Yeah.
That's nice. So it'll be great. So, dun, dun, dun. If you haven't been by West Main Community Park lately, this is what you'll see right now. This is a fresh picture. What was that?
It's a huge pickleball court.
You're thinking, ooh, let's make that
Right,
great.
just one right in the center. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
So for those of you watching at home, this is the future home of 8 individually fenced-in pickleball courts. We'll have shade structures. We're going to have bleachers for spectator seating, and then we're going to have windscreens as well. So this is going to be the premier pickleball courts. That way those tennis players can enjoy the tennis courts. Pickleballers will have this designated specifically for pickleball. So we're looking for win-win situations. And we will get the dates out for the actual pickleball grand opening, dedication and grand opening. And then we're going to do that one weekend, and then another weekend we're going to do tournament play. Kick it off with a big tournament. All right, and then now it decides not to work. There we go. And as Josh had mentioned, Clark Island, the demolition begins this week. So just to refresh everyone's memory of everything that we're putting out there, you're going to see it all. You're going to see an outdoor fitness court where you can bring your smartphone up and scan a QR code and get a free workout. We also have our fitness director, Kathy Freeland, but Kathy's going to be operating classes. She's going to have a little headset mic. We're going to have a PA system so she can operate her classes there. Fishing outcrop station, that's a tongue twister. That'll be great. So when we do our fishing derby, we'll have places that are designated for kids to fish. We're demoing the existing skate and bike park, so we won't have any more equipment. It'll all be concrete bowl. So it'll be nice and smooth, even. The skaters can intermix with the bikes. So it'll be really one big campus.
Will this be fenced?
No.
That won't be fenced, no.
Yeah, so that way a lot of the feedback we got was that people felt like it was a kiddie jail or a teenage jail because they were all fenced in and they thought, gosh, why,
And it didn't work anyways, they just threw their bike over the top of the
Right,
fence.
yeah, it was trying to keep the bikes out of the skate park.
Right.
Yeah, they found a way.
Right.
And where will parking,
So
how will parking change?
The parking lots are staying in the same.
So these are the existing, there's
So
just gonna
that
be seal
small
coated.
one and then the, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so then,
they're still just as awkward as they were before.
they're gonna be seal
Well,
coated, so
that one's really small.
with
but-
fresh striping, so it'll have a little bit of a facelift.
Okay.
And then a pollinator garden, we do have a lot of groups that are interested in partnering with us for the pollinator garden. We've been approached by the Rotary Club. Kim's actually had quite a few people approach her about that. So, so that is something that we're really looking forward to. Because now we're becoming like the butterfly garden of the
We have
world.
plenty of butterfly houses that we can
Right.
put out there.
I have another person that has come to me for butterflies.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So I do want to make mention to the park board that there are just a very, very small number, and I say small number, bolded, underlined, of people that are asking why we removed the playground, and, putting a fitness court there.
I've seen those comments.
But we do have playgrounds that are within walking distance of this area, and it was a dangerous area to try to get to because there isn't any kind of crosswalk, there isn't, it's not, and we actually tracked the usage and people really weren't using it unless they were sent over from baseball.
Right, and it's still within, like you say, there's a park very close by that folks can use that won't actually be interrupted by some of the folks farther south in the state park. So yeah, I am so excited about this project. It's going to be awesome.
And I would hope that maybe this kind of facelift and change would maybe prompt something from the city to come along and let's do something along Route 25.
Do something with the road?
Yeah, or just, spur something to.
Well, especially with, now that we're creating that linear park that Phil Elfstrom had that vision for, and we have the Elfstrom Memorial Greenway, we really are making progress here.
Yeah, it flows the whole.
Yep. So, there's a lot we're looking forward to, and also I do need to give props to Vice President Tillman because he was on the committee that met with staff, 2 years ago, when we initially thought of adding a component of like a ninja course, like American Ninja Warrior courses. And then we surveyed the public, we did some community engagement, and the community said, you know what, don't do that. Let's not, that's kind of self-guided play, and that's also for older folks, and there isn't an interest.
Well, it wasn't
here.
universal. It was either going to be, for myself, it was either going to be too close to the ground, or it was going to be too high for other people to use it. So it was like, how do we manage that? But this, we went out to Naperville, and saw this. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then, for those of you again watching at home, we have to keep the bike and skate park component because we received Illinois Department of Natural Resources money for it, an OSLAD grant. So it will always have to have those amenities within this campus because a lot of people said, well, why wasn't that an area in your referendum for a recreation center? And really that's why, because we have to keep that designated. We can change the atmosphere of it, we can change like the size of it, but it has to stay within the confines of this area. So I feel like it's a true recreational campus.
Right. No, that's good.
And then, here is the latest bus that we received, our new mini bus. It's going to be wrapped. I believe you're going to Dixon, Illinois to get it wrapped.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, there we go.
It's going to look like that?
It's going to look like that?
Really?
That looks awesome.
That's fantastic.
That's my director of marketing over there. It's her Katie. Katie designed this bus.
I love that.
And so.
You made the bus?
I'm trying to be cool.
She loves these projects we keep throwing her way, like,
Right?
hey, here's a canvas. And then, by the way, the canvas just happens to be a bus.
Yeah.
What can you do with that? And then she gets very magical, as you can see.
That's fantastic.
I asked her, is there any way to make it look like the colors moving? Like,
I love how you threw our banner in there for the top workplaces. Just right, yeah. Drive
Is there a
that
spot where we
down.
can update the year every year?
We're gonna keep it neutral because we're gonna be winning it every year.
Got it.
There you go.
Like registration stickers, you can just put a new sticker over it with a new year.
and then as staff has mentioned, I think almost like every other report mentioned, we do our Customer Appreciation Week. That's next week. And then on next Friday, it's what the interns have been working so hard to achieve, and that is to get everybody to come to our quarry at 5 o'clock on Friday, July 26th for a free quarry night. So they can come in for a free twilight. We will have a QR code available for patrons to scan to do a mini needs assessment for the quarry, kind of visioning like what the park board has already done with Leon Younger from Pros Consulting. Kind of what could you imagine the quarry looking like in 20 years? So people can scan the QR code and then take that survey, and then and he's going to take that survey and add it into the mix of possibilities for what we can do with the quarry. So, so we're looking forward to it. Brent's staff is eager and ready to make some magic happen with some refreshments and all sorts of wonderful things. And then Brent and Katie are actually co-chairs of the customer service committee that is sponsoring this. And last but certainly not least, I want to give a huge tribute to our 3 interns. One might be a little sweaty, I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah, right.
It might have something to do with the image on the right.
Maybe because you're standing in a furnace.
Yeah, the HVAC wasn't working that day.
Is Bruce OSHA compliant?
Yeah, Lynn's looking at it going, I don't know, let me think about this. But I really want to say that I cannot say enough good things about Haley, Trey, and Annie. They've been absolutely incredible. I've told them if they ever need a character reference or a professional reference, like I'm more than happy to serve that. And I guarantee you every single leadership team member here will also serve as a reference because we were just so impressed with your work ethic. We're impressed with your attitudes, your spunk, your resilience. You know, on those hard days at Windmill City Fest, we look over at you guys and you're still smiling, you're still kicking, and it brought people up, it lifted people. You really elevated us, and I just want to say thank you. We're really lucky to have you, and we're going to really miss you. And that, my friends, is a wrap.
I better say not yet. No.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a wrap.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Item number 14, new business. So we have new business to award a contract for Batavia Park District paving project 2024. Is there anything outside of what was already in? Okay. So I will entertain a motion to award the contract for the Batavia Park District paving project 2024 to Everlast Blacktop of South Elgin, Illinois, for the base bid amount of $150,000.
Second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. Please call the roll.
Gray. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 14B. This is for the approval of ordinance 418 for granting disconnection of 41W 145 Fabian Parkway. Can we, what is this?
So this is, this is a resident that, actually, 2 residents, husband and wife, that own a horse farm at that property at that location. They pay $7 in taxes to the
Is this the one that I
Yes.
I could get emails on it.
Yep. Julie's been looped in on this as board secretary. So this particular residence is a house farm or a horse farm, and they're paying $7 in taxes to the Batavia Park District. And they, in order to make any improvements to the entire property, the county is requiring them to consolidate. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, my colleague Dan helped Allison put together the disconnection materials, and it's not incredibly common, but if it's a matter of convenience, the statute provided an opportunity for this kind of disconnection, and it's not particularly controversial.
Yeah, so they disconnect from us.
For $7, I figured that's
To help themselves out.
That's
with
also
some of
minimum
stuff.
wage for a
And we can
seasonal.
budget for that.
I think we can.
Right, yeah, we can.
Brent, is it okay? Take that down.
We got that kind of.
He made sure the decimal point was in the right place.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And they were very nice about the whole thing.
Oh.
That's great. All right, thank you for that. Entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 418, granting disconnection of 41W145 Fabian Parkway.
So.
Second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. Please call the roll.
Gray. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. All right, item number 14C is approval of resolution number 307, declaring the month of July as Parks and Recreation Month. So,
The interns did the best they could to show you how important July is for Parks and Recreation.
exactly,
So
we've
this
seen
is
a lot of
tribute to their
that,
work.
right. So, entertain a motion to approve resolution number 307, declaring the month of July as Parks and Recreation Month.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. Please call the roll.
Gray. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. July is now Parks and Recreation Month. All right, so that, we don't have any other business to come before the board? Yes? No?
We do not, no.
Cool. Then, entertain a motion to adjourn from our July 16th board meeting at 8, I can't say.
37. It's like.
Sure, whatever, 8:37.
That's what my computer says.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Motion by Gray, second by Bell. It's a motion. I mean, it's a voice. Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. See you next month.